Have you ever woken up at 2 a.m., then again at 4, staring at the ceiling and wondering when your body stopped letting you sleep through the night and whether your kidneys are quietly failing while you lie there awake? If you're over 55 and dealing with nighttime urination, rising creatinine, or that constant fear that one bad lab result could change everything, I need you to listen closely because this is more serious than most people realize. Here's the urgent truth. Most seniors in America are never told the very advice meant to protect your kidneys. Cutting protein, avoiding eggs, living on bland food may actually be speeding up kidney decline. Muscle weakens circulation, slows oxygen delivery drops, and the kidneys are forced to work harder, not easier. I've seen it happen over and over in real patients, and it's why so many people feel worse despite trying to do everything right. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and tonight I want to stop that downward spiral before it goes any further. Because there is a clear, practical solution, one that doesn't rely on extreme diets or complicated supplements, but on using the right food in the right way at the right time. And one simple, everyday ingredient, long misunderstood and often feared, may be quietly holding the key to better sleep, fewer nighttime bathroom trips, and more stable kidney numbers. But food alone isn't enough. What truly changes the outcome is how foods work together inside your body, especially at night when your kidneys are meant to repair, not a struggle. And that's where most people get it wrong. Stay with me because in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly how to reverse this pattern step by step before it turns into something much harder to undo. For many older adults, kidney trouble doesn't start with pain. It starts quietly burning during urination, waking up multiple times at night, that uncomfortable heat in the lower body, and lab numbers that slowly creep upward without warning. This is where the first way of eating eggs matters, and why eggs stir-fried with bitter melon can become a turning point for people with early kidney stress. I once worked with a 62-year-old patient who kept saying, "I don't feel sick, but my body feels hot and restless at night." He was urinating 3 to 4 times every evening, sleeping lightly, and his creatinine had begun to drift upward. He avoided protein, avoided eggs, and lived mostly on rice and vegetables, yet nothing improved. When bitter melon was paired with eggs, something subtle but powerful changed. From a physiological standpoint, bitter melon is not just a vegetable, it acts as a gentle cooling agent for the urinary tract. Compounds like memorticin and natural polyphenols help reduce low-grade inflammation in the bladder and urinary lining, easing urgency and burning sensations. Studies have also shown bitter melon can modestly improve glucose regulation, which matters because even mild blood sugar instability increases kidney workload. Eggs, on the other hand, provide what nephrologists often call soft protein, highly bioavailable amino acids with minimal waste, allowing the kidneys to nourish tissue without excessive filtration stress. When these two foods are combined, the effect is synergistic. Bitter melon calms the urinary system, while eggs restore strength and circulation. Better circulation means better oxygen delivery to kidney tissue, and better oxygen means less strain during filtration. Within days, many people notice fewer nighttime bathroom trips, lighter sleep interruptions, and a calmer sensation in the lower abdomen. This isn't about eating more, it's about eating strategically. 1 to 2 eggs lightly stir-fried with thin sliced bitter melon. Minimal oil and almost no salt consumed earlier in the evening can support kidney recovery instead of exhausting it. For those with early diabetic changes, this combination can be especially helpful, easing 2 stressors at once. But cooling the urinary system is only the first step, because for many people with kidney weakness, the real issue isn't heat, it's circulation and fluid retention hiding beneath the surface. And that's where the next combination becomes critical. But knowing this alone isn't enough because there's another factor that can silently worsen kidney stress even faster. Cooling the urinary tract can bring fast relief, but for many people with kidney weakness, symptoms quietly return if circulation remains sluggish. This is where the second way of eating eggs becomes essential. Eggs stir-fried with Katuk leaves, often overlooked outside Southeast Asia, address a deeper problem that lab tests don't always reveal: poor blood flow to aging kidneys. I remember a 68-year-old woman who told me, "My burning stopped, but my legs still felt heavy every morning." Her creatinine wasn't alarming yet. She woke up tired, mildly swollen around the ankles, and needed afternoon naps just to function. The issue wasn't inflammation anymore. It was circulation. Once eggs were paired with Katuk leaves, the change wasn't dramatic overnight, but it was steady and unmistakable. From a scientific perspective, Katuk leaves are rich in vitamin K plant iron and soluble fiber that supports vascular health. Vitamin K plays a key role in maintaining smooth blood flow by preventing microclot formation, while iron supports oxygen delivery to tissues. For kidneys, oxygen is everything. When blood arrives slowly or unevenly, filtration becomes inefficient, forcing the kidneys to work longer and harder. Eggs complement this perfectly. Their highly absorbable protein and B vitamins support red blood cell production, helping the kidneys receive consistent oxygen supply without increasing metabolic waste. Clinical observations consistently show that improved renal circulation correlates with more stable creatinine levels and reduced fluid retention. In practical terms, people report less morning heaviness, reduced ankle swelling, and better daytime energy. Some even notice nighttime urination gradually decreasing, not because the bladder changed, but because kidney filtration became smoother throughout the day. The preparation matters. Lightly wilted Katuk leaves quickly stir-fried with 1 or 2 eggs, minimal oil, and almost no salt create a meal that nourishes without overwhelming the kidneys. Eaten earlier in the evening or at lunch, this combination supports circulation long before nighttime repair begins. Think of it this way: bitter melon cools the system, but Katuk leaves keep the blood moving. One calms irritation, the other restores flow. And when flow improves, swelling retreats, energy returns, and kidney stress eases quietly in the background. But knowing this alone isn't enough, because there's another factor that can silently damage kidney function even faster, and it hides inside your blood vessels themselves. When circulation improves, many people expect kidney symptoms to disappear completely. But for a surprising number of adults, over 55, creatinine still fluctuates, energy stays low, and nighttime urination slowly creeps back. That's because there's a third problem most people never feel until it's too late: silent inflammation inside the blood vessels feeding the kidneys. And this is where eggs stir-fried with onions become far more powerful than they look. I once spoke with a 64-year-old man who said something that stuck with me. "I eat light, I sleep better, but my numbers keep bouncing." He wasn't in pain. No burning, no swelling. Yet his lab results refused to stabilize. The missing piece wasn't diet quantity, it was inflammation quietly stiffening his blood vessels. Once onions were added to eggs regularly, his follow-up labs told a different story. Onions are one of the richest natural sources of quercetin, a flavonoid extensively studied for its anti-inflammatory and vascular protective effects. Research shows quercetin helps reduce oxidative stress in endothelial cells, the delicate lining of blood vessels, allowing them to relax and widen more easily. For kidneys, this matters enormously. When renal blood vessels are stiff or inflamed, filtration pressure rises, forcing the kidneys to work harder, even if creatinine appears borderline normal. Eggs amplify this effect. Their sulfur-containing amino acids support glutathione production, one of the body's most important internal antioxidants. Together, eggs and onions form a protective duo. Onions calm inflammation, while eggs help repair cellular damage. The result is smoother blood flow, lower filtration stress, and more consistent kidney performance over time. Clinically, this shows up in subtle but meaningful ways. People report fewer energy crashes during the day, more stable blood pressure readings, and less variability in nighttime urination. Some even notice their creatinine stops yo-yoing between tests, not because the kidneys suddenly healed, but because the inflammatory burden was finally reduced. Preparation is key. Thinly sliced onions, gently sautéed until translucent, then combined with 1 or 2 eggs using minimal oil and almost no salt. Overcooking destroys quercetin. Gentle heat preserves it. This meal works best earlier in the day or at an early dinner, giving the kidneys hours of calmer circulation before nighttime repair begins. Think of it like this: bitter melon cools irritation, Katuk leaves restore flow, but onions protect the pipes themselves. Without healthy vessels, no amount of kidney-friendly food can do its job fully. But knowing this alone isn't enough, because there's another factor that can silently worsen kidney stress even faster, and most people completely overlook it. Even when inflammation is reduced, many kidneys still struggle for one simple reason: most people never suspect fat and lipid overload in the blood. This is where progress stalls for countless adults who eat clean, yet feel constantly drained. And this is exactly why eggs stir-fried with shiitake mushrooms become the fourth often overlooked turning point in kidney recovery. I recall a 70-year-old retiree who told me, "My diet is light, but I'm always tired after meals." His creatinine wasn't catastrophic, but triglycerides were creeping up, and his kidneys were silently paying the price. Excess blood lipids thicken circulation, slow filtration, and force the kidneys to work under constant pressure. When shiitake mushrooms entered his routine alongside eggs, the change didn't feel dramatic, but his lab numbers quietly improved. From a scientific standpoint, shiitake mushrooms contain beta-glucans and lentinin compounds shown to reduce LDL cholesterol and triglycerides by binding excess fats in the gut before they enter circulation. Studies have demonstrated that lowering circulating lipids directly reduces renal filtration strain, especially in aging kidneys, where vascular elasticity is already compromised. Less fat in the blood means thinner flow, easier filtration, and lower oxidative stress inside kidney tissue. Eggs complete this equation in a critical way. While mushrooms reduce lipid burden, eggs provide highly efficient protein that maintains muscle mass and metabolic stability without adding significant waste products. This balance is crucial. When protein intake drops too low, muscle loss accelerates, insulin sensitivity worsens, and lipid metabolism deteriorates further. Eggs prevent that downward spiral while shiitake mushrooms clean up the metabolic environment. Clinically, people often report subtle but meaningful changes: less post-meal fatigue, fewer afternoon crashes, lighter legs, and more consistent energy throughout the day. Some notice nighttime urination gradually decreasing, not because fluids changed, but because the kidneys were no longer fighting thick, lipid-heavy blood late into the night. Preparation matters more than most realize. Thinly sliced shiitake mushrooms should be lightly sautéed until just tender, then gently combined with 1 or 2 eggs. Avoid heavy sauces, avoid excess oil, and keep salt minimal. This dish works best at lunch or early dinner, giving the body time to process fats long before nighttime kidney repair begins. Think of it this way: onions protect the vessels, but shiitake mushrooms lighten the load flowing through them. Without addressing lipids, even healthy circulation can become overwhelmed. But knowing this alone isn't enough, because there's another factor often mistaken for comfort food that quietly disrupts kidney repair at night even faster. By this stage, many people have cooled irritation, improved circulation, and reduced inflammation and lipid stress, yet they still wake up at night to urinate, feel cold in the lower back, or struggle to stay asleep. That's because there's a fifth problem: most lab tests never catch functional kidney cold and nighttime energy instability. This is where eggs stir-fried with pumpkin quietly change the game. I once spoke with a 66-year-old man who described it perfectly. "My numbers are better, but every night around 3 a.m., I wake up cold and restless." His creatinine wasn't alarming, his blood pressure was controlled, yet his sleep was fragile. What he lacked wasn't treatment, it was warmth and metabolic stability at night. When pumpkin was added to eggs a few evenings a week, his sleep patterns slowly normalized. From a physiological standpoint, pumpkin is rich in beta-carotene, soluble fiber, and B vitamins that support stable blood sugar and gentle energy release. This matters because kidneys repair most efficiently at night, but only when the body has steady energy. Sudden drops in blood glucose trigger stress hormones, forcing the kidneys and adrenal system to work overtime. Soluble fiber in pumpkin slows glucose absorption, while its natural warmth supports circulation to the lower back and renal area. Eggs amplify this effect through tryptophan, a precursor to serotonin and melatonin, the hormones responsible for deep restorative sleep. When eggs and pumpkin are combined, they create a dual action effect: metabolic calm and hormonal balance. The result isn't sedation, but stability. People often report falling asleep faster, waking fewer times at night, and feeling warmer and more settled overall. Clinically, this translates into fewer nighttime bathroom trips, less lower back tension, and better morning energy. Importantly, this combination doesn't spike blood sugar when prepared correctly. Moderate portions of pumpkin, paired with protein, actually reduce glycemic swings, which is especially important for older adults with insulin resistance or early diabetes-related kidney stress. Preparation is simple but precise. Thinly sliced pumpkin should be lightly sautéed until just tender, then gently combined with 1 or 2 eggs using minimal oil and almost no salt. Overcooking removes both texture and metabolic benefit. This dish works best as an early dinner, ideally before 6 or 7 p.m., giving the body time to settle before sleep. Think of it this way: mushrooms lighten the blood onions, protect the vessels, but pumpkin stabilizes the night itself. And for kidneys, nighttime stability is not optional. It's essential. But knowing this alone isn't enough, because there's one final factor often dismissed as just a herb that can determine whether kidney recovery truly holds or quietly slips away. At this point, many people finally feel hopeful. The burning is gone. Circulation is smoother. Inflammation and lipid stress are under control. Sleep is deeper. And yet, for a surprising number of adults, over 60 kidney numbers still refuse to fully stabilize. That's because there is one final factor most people underestimate: chronic low-grade inflammation, combined with cold kidneys that never fully resolve. This is where eggs stir-fried with perilla leaves become the quiet, deciding factor. I remember a 71-year-old woman who said something I hear often: "I'm better than before, but I'm not steady." Her creatinine would improve, then drift back up. Some nights were good, others restless. Her lower back felt cold even in warm weather. Nothing looked urgent on paper, but her body never fully relaxed. When perilla leaves were added to eggs just 2 or 3 times a week, that instability slowly disappeared. Scientifically, perilla leaves are rich in rosmarinic acid flavonoids and plant-based omega-3s. These compounds are powerful modulators of inflammation, especially in soft tissues and microvasculature. Studies show rosmarinic acid helps suppress chronic inflammatory signaling while improving capillary blood flow. For the kidneys, this means less background irritation and more consistent oxygen delivery, a prerequisite for long-term recovery, not just temporary relief. Eggs complete this final layer of protection. Beyond protein, eggs supply choline and sulfur-containing amino acids that support cell membrane repair and antioxidant defense. Together, eggs and perilla leaves do something subtle but profound. They warm the kidney region while calming inflammatory noise. This combination helps the nervous system downshift at night, allowing true repair instead of constant low-level stress. Clinically, this shows up as stability: fewer fluctuations in creatinine, fewer good weeks and bad weeks, less nighttime urination triggered by bladder sensitivity rather than volume. People often describe it as finally feeling settled, not just better. Preparation must remain gentle. Fresh perilla leaves are quickly wilted, then combined with 1 or 2 eggs using minimal oil and very little salt. Overcooking destroys volatile compounds. This dish works best as an early evening meal, especially during colder months or in people who feel chilled easily. Think of the full picture now. Bitter melon cools irritation, Katuk restores, flow onions, protect vessels. Mushrooms lighten the blood, pumpkin stabilizes the night, but perilla decides whether all of that lasts. But even knowing all 6 of these isn't enough if one daily habit quietly cancels their benefits, and that final mistake is what decides whether someone eventually faces dialysis or avoids it altogether. Before we wrap up, I want you to take a breath and remember this one thing: having kidney problems does not mean your body has given up on you. Many people your age feel scared when they hear words like creatinine, nighttime urination, or declining kidney function. But fear is not a treatment. Consistent, gentle choices are. Simple meals eaten the right way at the right time can ease the burden on your kidneys far more than extreme restrictions ever will. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You just need to start doing a few things correctly and stick with them. If this video helped you see your kidneys in a new light, do yourself a favor. Save this video so you can come back to it when you need a reminder. And if you care about protecting your kidneys, your sleep, and your quality of life as you age, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every week I share clear, practical medical insights designed to help you take care of your kidneys without fear, confusion, or unnecessary suffering. Most importantly, never forget this: your kidneys can still improve. They respond to calm nourishment and consistency. Small changes repeated daily can lead to better sleep, fewer nighttime bathroom trips, and more stable lab results over time. You are not too late, and you are not alone. Stay hopeful, stay informed, and keep choosing health one simple step at a time.